Where's the cast of Married with Children now? From 1987 to 1997, Married with Children was one of the most beloved sitcoms ever created. It followed the mischievous and at times endearing Bundy family, whose eccentricities were always overshadowed by their familial love for each other. But where's the cast today? The show's success could be attributed to its unforgettable cast, so here's what they've been doing since saying goodbye to Married with Children over 2 decades ago. Ed O'Neill as Al Bundy. The patriarch of the Bundy family, Al Bundy, spends his days toiling away in a women's shoe store before heading home to his beloved wife and children. Though he's often disheartened with the mundanity of life, Al finds solace in any way possible, remembering triumphant moments from his high school football career, spending time at the local nudie bar, or enjoying some leisurely hours behind the wheel of his treasured Dodge. Ed O'Neill today. Ed O'Neill's path back to sitcoms wasn't long-lived, as he quickly landed the role of Modern Family in 2009 and played it for over 11 years. He's now set to star in The Sterling Affairs, FX's drama adapted from a true story. To top off his achievements, fans have been delighted by the news that Al Bundy will be making an appearance once again on their screens, this time around as part of an animated reboot of Married with Children. Katie Sagal as Peggy Bundy. Peggy Bundy was an iconic figure of the 80s and 90s television, standing apart from other wives due to her trademark slothfulness. Rather than seeking employment or tending to household chores, Peggy preferred to the simpler things like watching TV and shopping. Despite her out-of-the-box parenting techniques, she always had her family's best interest at heart. Katie Sagal today. After Married with Children, Katie Sagal's television career skyrocketed. She had principal roles in Futurama, Sons of Anarchy, and 8 Simple Rules, while also appearing in blockbuster films such as Pitch Perfect 2 and the 2017 Dirty Dancing remake. At present, Sagal co-stars alongside John Goodman in ABC's The Conners, a role that's only further solidified her status as an iconic Hollywood actress. Amanda Bearse as Marcy Darcy. Al Bundy's worst nightmare was the Bundy's next-door neighbor, Marcy Darcy. A feminist and power activist, she swiftly moved up in her job while leading an anti-male faction by the name of Fang. Prior to accidentally marrying free spirit Jefferson Darcy, Marcy had previously been wed to banker Steve Rhodes. Peggy happened to be good friends with her throughout it all. Amanda Bearse today. After Married with Children, Amanda Bearse successfully navigated both the acting and directing arenas. In recent years, her most noteworthy role was as a guest star in FX's Anger Management. Nowadays, she continues to pursue minor roles in made-for-TV movies, while also maintaining an active presence on the public stage. Christina Applegate. As the eldest Bundy child, Kelly Bundy became one of the most adored characters on the show. Known for her exuberance and flirtatiousness, she had a new beau every season. Although comically forgetful and tongue-tied at times, Kelly was deeply embarrassed by her unconventional family in high school. Yet, despite this setback, she still sought to ascend up social ranks. Christina Applegate today. After her long-running role in Married with Children, Christina Applegate went to captivate audiences in films such as Anchorman and the 2015 Vacation reboot. Then came her part in Netflix's Dead to Me alongside Linda Cardellini. In 2021, when she celebrated turning 50 years old, Applegate revealed that she'd been battling multiple sclerosis, news which left many of her fans devastated. David Faustino as Bud Bundy. Bud Bundy, being the youngest of the family, often had to step up and be a mediator between his bickering parents and sister. His intelligence provided an invaluable counterbalance to Kelly's absent-mindedness. Being constantly underwhelmed by girls, Bud could hardly take 2 steps without getting into a romantic debacle, usually ending with him empty-handed. David Faustino today. After a stint on Married with Children, David Faustino has been exploring the world of voice acting, with roles in Winx Club and Nickelodeon's The Legend of Korra. He even made a few appearances in Entourage, where he played himself. Currently, Faustino is hosting the highly acclaimed Old Scratch Record radio show. Ted McGinley as Jefferson Darcy. Despite Al and Marcy's differences, he got along surprisingly well with Jefferson Darcy, Marcy's second husband. A wild spirit who was both attractive and presumably jobless, Jefferson often confided in Al about the hardships of their marriage. However, they were able to make things work out in the end despite it all. Some episodes suggest that he may have been a covert CIA agent as well. Ted McGinley today. After a success in Married with Children, Ted McGinley continued to pursue a career in acting. He landed roles in The West Wing, Hope and Faith, and more, even appearing briefly on Dancing with the Stars before being cut after 2 rounds. Still actively pursuing his craft today, some of his latest parts include co-starring roles in The Baxters and Keeping Up with the Joneses. Carrie Russell as April Adams. Bud had a strong infatuation for April Adams, who was an intern at Marcy Darcy's bank and also a college student. He faced rivalry from the captain of the basketball team in his longing to win her heart. However, she ultimately turned them both down and decided instead to work on a radio show. Carrie Russell today. Carrie Russell first made a name for herself in her role with Married with Children, but it was through Felicity that she truly began to rise to fame. Her portrayal of the titular character won her numerous awards and recognition. Now Russell is set to take on Netflix's latest political thriller, The Diplomats, as its star for an 8-episode series, sure to be one of this year's must-watch shows. David Garrison as Steve Rhodes. From the show's onset, Marcy and her first husband, Steve Rhodes, were in a seemingly unbreakable marriage. As a banker who cherished his Mercedes-Benz more than anything else, it was common for Steve to find himself wrapped up in Al's schemes. Despite the strong bond between them at the beginning, they eventually drifted apart until Steve ultimately divorced Marcy before moving away to Yosemite as a forest ranger. David Garrison today. After departing Married with Children earlier than anticipated, David Garrison went back to the world of theater and soon garnered accolades for his musical performances in shows such as Wicked. Today, he still makes occasional television appearances, including minor roles on The Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt and Law & Order. Dan Tullis Jr. as Officer Dan. Officer Dan, a Chicago police officer, forged an amicable bond with Al through No Ma'am. They spent countless hours together as part of the group. However, Dan was often compelled to arrest members on occasions in order to keep them out of harm's way. Dan Tullis Jr. today. Dan Tullis Jr. is famously known as the police officer on Married with Children, and after his iconic role, he put in some time as a life insurance company spokesman. Now, 71 years old and retired from acting, Dan has 2 adult children living successful lives of their own. Vanna White as Coco/Helen Granowinter. Helen Granowinter, fondly known as Coco, was Al's high school sweetheart. One day when she appeared at his workplace, she confessed that her feelings for him never went away. Joyfully seized by the opportunity to show his family he had once been in a relationship with an alluring woman, Al welcomed her home with open arms and introduced her to him. Vanna White today. For almost 4 decades, Vanna White has been a celebrated fixture on the popular game show Wheel of Fortune as its co-host alongside Pat Sajak. Since 1982, viewers have watched her reveal letters that form the mystery phrase or words to contestants who guess them correctly. Her impactful role is not going anywhere anytime soon. White and Sajak just recently renewed their contracts through 2024. Matt LeBlanc as Vinny Verducci. Smooth playboy Vinny Verducci quickly endeared himself to viewers after his exciting 3-episode stint with Kelly Bundy, leading him to land a spot in the spin-off Top of the Heap. His fame persisted, and he earned another starring role in its own spin-off series, Vinny and Bobby, though it was unfortunately short-lived. Matt LeBlanc today. After becoming a household name in Married with Children, Matt LeBlanc experienced even more success when he starred as Joey Tribbiani on the iconic show Friends. Though his spin-off wasn't quite as successful, that didn't stop him from tackling new roles with Man with a Plan and co-hosting Top Gear. Pamela Anderson as Cashew. In Al's wildest dreams, Cashew was his dream girl. Yvette later appeared when Peggy wasn't at home, in his otherworldly fantasy of his, so he was enamored with him that she'd battle any woman for the chance to be by Al's side. Pamela Anderson today. Pamela Anderson made an unforgettable debut in Baywatch shortly after appearing in Married with Children, and has since blossomed into her own star with modeling gigs, relationships with music icons, and now a serene existence living on Vancouver Island.